Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back to Felsbrunn. I've finished harvesting the field, as you can kind of see out there in the distance. You see all those long lines of straw waiting for somebody to do something with it. I haven't decided if I want to do anything with it yet, but we'll get to that. During the harvest, I did do a seeding mission. Got about 6,000 or so for that, so that's why my money might be slightly higher than it was when we last spoke. And then I've also baled all the grass and wrapped those bales. And I only got, what was it, 15. I got 15 silage bales. So I decided just to hang on to all of them. I just stacked them up over there. So we're down to 2, 4, 6, 8 hay bales. I still have a lot of straw bales, 32. And then I've got some silage bales. Now, at 1 o'clock, or 1300 hours, I stopped and checked the supply levels in the cow pen. So you may recall I loaded 8,000 liters of water, 4,000 liters of straw, and 8,000 liters of hay at about 0700. So that's a difference of 6 hours. I noted the difference in what is in there now versus what we started with. Productivity has been close to 80% the whole time. At one point it did drop down to 70% or 79% when there was a small bit of food that needed to be cleaned up, right? So I did clean that up with the bucket. So it's all clean now. And what I came up with is on consumption, it looks like per day per cow, I calculated that we would consume about 100 liters of water, about 100 liters of straw, actually a little bit less, but I'll wait until I get a longer time period. And then the hay is about 470 liters. That's how much they consumed. And that's per cow. All right. So with 12 cows, I'm estimating that we're going to need almost 1.5 bales of food per day for these 12 cows to keep them going. And the straw is going to last for close to 4 days. One tanker full of water will last us close to 8 days. So based on those numbers, it does seem like the animal pens are designed to hold 10 days worth of stuff, or something close to that number rather than 6 as it was before. And then I also checked the milk, and I calculated that per day we're going to get I've got 93 liters of milk per cow, 126 liters of slurry, and 179 liters of manure per day per cow. So for us at 80%, that means we're looking at about 1,100 to 1,200 liters of milk per day. All right, so let's look at prices. Yeah, so that's going to get us a little over $1,000 a day from milk at 80%. So once we get up to 100%, we'll get more milk. I'll monitor the consumption as well. I'm expecting that the consumption will be the same regardless of the productivity level. Otherwise, Otherwise, you could compensate for low productivity by just buying more cows, and end up in the same place. So I'm assuming that the consumption is constant and production of milk changes. And we'll see if the slurry and manure production changes with productivity as well. All right, so now it's time to sell some oats. We've got almost 49,000 liters plus the 31,000 in my truck or tractor, which is 49, 50, about 80,000 liters. So we should be able to get close to 100,000. Train Station Mill is where we want to go. That's got the best price right now. And that appears to be the same place that we sold at last time when we sold canola. So let's head down there. I think we'll need 3 trips again. And I suppose that's not surprising since oats and canola have a similar yield. And then once we have the money, we'll get a feed mixer, and then I'll decide what to do about all that straw. I don't need any more straw for the animals right now. I think those 32 bales are going to last a long time. Well, if I use them for bedding, they're going to last a long time. But if I start using them for feed, then they'll get consumed faster. Right? So if I make like the pardon me. Ooh. Okay. The standard mixture for feed that I use when I'm working with bales is 1 bale of straw, and then 1 bale of either hay or silage, depending on what I've got, and then 2 bales of either hay or silage. Right, so in my case right now, since I have more silage than hay, I'll probably just put 1 hay and 2 silage. Or not probably, I will do that for sure. And then that gives you 16,000 liters of mixed ration. Now I was reading, I don't know if it was on the forum or on Reddit, but some people were saying that, I think I missed my turn. Whoops. Yes, I did. Some people were saying, why bother with straw? Because you can make TMR with just silage and hay, and then you can sell the straw. Well, my argument there is that straw is essentially free if you plant the crops that produce straw. So, and in the case of oats this time, in particular, even if we don't sell the straw, we're still getting a good price, and so we can look at the straw as just kind of a bonus. So for me, straw is the least expensive ingredient that goes into the TMR. So if I can, and since the straw is just filler, when I include straw in the mix, you're essentially converting straw into TMR that way. And that just seems like a good idea to me. Rather than just doing like, if I did 2 hay and 2 silage, well, I could get more money by selling bales of hay or silage than I can from selling bales of straw, right? So, and since, I don't know why I'm going this way. And since my production of straw is practically unlimited, with the size of my herd now, I've got tons of straw in the field that I might not even pick up. So because of all those factors, to me, I think the way to go is to incorporate straw into the mixture. And if I could put more straw in there, I would. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with bales, everything has to go in multiples of 4,000. And the only way to make the ratio work to get TMR is to use 1 bale of straw and then 1 bale of another ingredient and 2 bales of another ingredient. But if you did roughly equal mixtures of hay and silage, that'll give you mixed ration as well. The hay is completely optional, or the straw is completely optional. Okay, so we got, what was that, close to 40,000 for that load? I forgot what the number was now. I was too busy talking. But let's get another load going. Now when course play comes out, we'll be able to automate this part of selling. And I almost always do that when I'm using course play because it's a little repetitive and not terribly interesting. I'd rather be working on the fields. Okay, let me double check what it was that we got there. So I'm looking at today. Okay, harvest income, I got 38,000. And let's make sure that the prices are still the same. Yep. Yeah, the prices don't move too quickly in FS19, apparently, which is good. Now, unfortunately, the current price is about 1 to 200 per 1,000 liters less than it was when we made the decision to plant oats, or to sow oats. So that's a little disappointing, but we'll still make out okay. And like I said before, I haven't seen any rhyme or reason in the price movements, so I suspect that they're somewhat randomized, which means that it's not really possible to predict them. Except that if you see a price getting close to what you know is a very low point, it's probably going to start going up again, but you still wouldn't want to plant that stuff anyway, probably. So before we sow that field again, I'll update the prices on my spreadsheet and see what looks good. And I'm guessing it's probably going to be canola or soybeans again. And I'm going to try not to do the same crop twice in a row. Just because I know that typically that's not done in real life. So we can add a little bit of realism. Actually, there was a comment on one of the videos a while back from someone who is a real life farmer. He said he farms corn and soybeans, and that they typically alternate. You know, on the same field, they'll do corn one year and soybeans the next year, and vice versa. And I think the reason they alternate like that is because, like, the soybeans, if I'm not mistaken, I think soybeans add nitrogen to the soil, and corn takes nitrogen out of the soil, or something like that. Like, if you just plant corn every year, then eventually your fields will become depleted of nutrients. I don't understand all the science, but that's my general understanding of how it works. Okay, and one more load of 17,000, which will get us close to 20K. Yeah, so we'll be up over 100,000 again here shortly, which is awesome. Turn my beacons on when I'm driving through town, so people know I'm coming. All right, so there are 3 different feed mixers in the game. At least I think there's 3. Whoa. Hit the curb there. If I was using my wheel, I would be a much better driver, but still haven't bothered to hook it up. Anyway, there are several options for feed mixers, and I'm going to get the trailed mixer, but not the cheapest one. I'm going to get the next one up. The reason I don't want the cheapest one is because the cheapest one doesn't have enough capacity to put 4 bales in, which means that you can't really use it with bales in the ratio that I mentioned. Because after you put, you could put like 2 hay and 1 silage in it, or 2 silage and 1 hay, but then there wouldn't be enough space to fit a bale of straw in there. And that's why I don't want to use it. Whereas the next one up has a capacity of 16,000. It'll accept 4 bales, and then you can include straw in the mix. Now with the smaller one, I think you could include straw if you are if you're putting it in loose. You know, either from the hay silo or the straw silo, which is a placeable. That costs about $100,000 though, so I don't want to buy that. I think it's $90,000 more precisely. Although later on in the game we may move to that, to just dealing with loose straw, loose hay. You can store those in the silo, and then silage you can put into a silage bunker, and that way you can have all loose ingredients, and then you can really fine tune your ratio since you're not limited to, you know, to increments of 4,000 liters. So I'll get the medium-sized one. Costs a bit more, but it'll allow us to include straw in the mixed ration. And one batch of 16,000 liters should last us about 2 days, 2.5 days. So we won't have to mix food terribly often. Yeah, and you know, and I was also considering leasing it before, but you know, in the last episode, I talked about that a little bit. The interest rate on the loans is about 0.5% per day. It's quite low. Whereas the daily leasing cost is 1% of the value of the equipment. So I think as long as you have cash or you can take a loan to buy equipment, you're going to save money over leasing. Even if you use it for a very small number of hours, you know, just the daily cost is going to cost you 1%, which is more than what your loan is. So that's why I'm going to purchase my equipment, you know, anything that I'm going to use more than once, or at least if I'm going to use it on a repeated basis, then I'm going to buy it whenever I can, you know, if I get in a tight spot with money and I don't have any other choice, then I'll lease it, but I'll try to buy when I can. Unfortunately, I didn't think of that before I leased the water trailer, so but since I've already got it, I've already paid the upfront cost. I'll hang on to it for a few more days at least, and then when we have some more money, I'll return it and then buy one. So with only about 1,200 liters of milk coming in per day, I don't think I'll sell milk every day. You know, I'll probably just wait till we've got 4,000 or 5,000 liters, and then I'll take it to be sold. Now, I'm also curious if I think the reproduction rate is linked to the productivity level. Because I remember when I first got the cows, it was telling me that the next animal was coming in 500 hours or something like that. And now that we're at 80% productivity, it's telling me somewhere around 120. We can check that here real quick. Yeah, 125 is the reproduction rate. So once we get up to 100%, it'll be interesting to see if that number goes down. Okay. So let's put our tipper away. Got 110,000, which is pretty decent. That'll allow us to get our feed wagon and maybe do something else interesting or pay back the loan. All right, so let's look in the shop We're going to go to animals. Right, this is the small one that I talked about. It holds 11,893. Yeah, it doesn't have any extension, so yeah, so this one's is not going to be good for us to use. The Silo King is the one that has 16,000 capacity. And then you also have a vehicle similar to this one. And this one's got a little vacuum on the front, or like a collector on the front, and you can use that to pick up like silage from a bunker. Or if you have piles of straw and hay, you can pick it up that way, or you can put bales on the top. So this is, that's nice to have when you've got plenty of money. Okay, let's buy it. And I've got 50,000 left, 57,000 left. And one thing I'm considering is maybe I'm thinking about maybe selling my round baling stuff. And if I add the 57,000 to that, I might be able to get into a square baler. I just don't know if I'll have enough for a square baler, the square bale collector, and a square bale wrapper. I think that would end up being a little bit expensive. But I should be able to get about 60 or 70,000 for the round baling equipment that I have now. And that'll pay for a little more than half of the square baler, which I think is 105,000. Yeah, I don't think I would have enough to get everything. We'll probably have to hold off on that. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here with the mixing wagon. Now this is probably gonna mess up my experiments now, since I'm gonna be adding more feed. But for now, I think we've got a pretty good measure on what we're getting and how much we're consuming. Pardon me. All right, so we'll leave that there. Looks like there's no dirt here, so I am going to detach the bucket, and we'll just leave that there. And I think we should stick the weight on the back here, if I can get in there. Okay, and then my bale forks are over here. Okay, so I'm going to start with 2 bales of silage, and then we'll take a look at what the mixture shows us. And I think I can probably get both bales at the same time. Let's try that. Yep. All right. Nice. Good thing I have the weight on the back. Okay. All right, so let's hop in here. All right, and if I open up the help menu, you can see that right now I have 100% silage. And you can see those little triangle shapes on the bars that indicate what the correct levels are. Now, unfortunately, there's no numbers there, but you can see that the ratio of hay and silage is exactly the same, and that straw goes down to 0, which is why you can get away with making it without any straw at all if you so choose. All right, so now let's add in 1 hay and take a look. Try not to tip it over. I should probably just take it off the top of the stack behind it. Whoops. All right. I think that'll get over the top. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it dropped in. Oh no, it fell over the other side. All right. I'll get better at this, I promise. Just need some practice. Okay. All right. So now you can see that we have 12,000 liters of total mixed ration. If you look down at the bottom, you can see the icon has changed. That should be the icon for mixed ration. Let me see here. Yeah, that's mixed ration. If it wasn't mixed ration, then what you would be seeing is the second icon there, which is, I think, the symbol for chaff, which is just a mixture that you can't feed with. Okay, and now we can add the straw, and if nothing significant has changed in the game, it'll continue to be mixed ration, but we'll have 4,000 more liters of it. Ugh, okay. There we go. Okay, yeah, and we still have mixed ration. So you can see we've got 25% hay, we've got 50% silage, and 25% straw. So we are good to go. And you can see that the hay is just barely at the correct level. Well, it's 25%. So it looks like the lower limit for either hay or silage is 25%, and the upper limit for straw, it looks like is like around 30%. So when we get into loose mixing, I think it'll be good to see if we can get up to 30% straw in that mixture. Okay. So we back in here. We turn on the wagon. It starts mixing. And tip side. Oh, tip side needs to be on the right. There we go. All right. And now we can start dumping it. There we go. All right, and so now we can see the total mixed ration increasing. We can see the troughs filling up. Okay, and that's that. Turn that off. And then we go park this big expensive bucket and wait until we need it again. Where shall I park it? Yeah, we'll put it behind the bale wagon. Oh, close. Like a glove. Okay. So the harvester is dirty, needs to be cleaned and repaired. I think my tractor needs to be repaired. I'm going to think about what to do with the straw, whether I want to try to get into a square baler rig or not. Yeah, so that's 16,000 liters. Didn't make a big dent in it. Well, it looks like that's about 2.5 days, right? About 25%, which is what we thought. Now, I'm not sure, but I think that when I have two different food types, I think that they're probably going to eat, well, let's see. But I'm guessing that the TMR is going to go down first, and then when it runs out, they'll start eating the hay again. But I'm not positive about that. I do need to put in some more straw. Although that can probably wait until tomorrow. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out what crop to plant on our field again. We need to... Pardon me, still battling with this itchy throat. I need to fertilize my grass. I need to spread lime on 11 and 13. Fertilize that and plant something. And then I'll figure out what to do with the straw in the meantime, whether we round bale it and sell those bales, square bale it and sell those bales, or possibly we could maybe get a loading wagon and pick it up loose. I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll get into that next time. One last thing before we go. I want to get rid of this strip of grass here. So let's go into the landscaping mode. And I'm going to shrink that brush down. I want the painting mode. And I think I'll just do... I think I'll just look for a dirt texture. Is that dirt? That looks about the same. Let's try it. Yeah. So I'll just bring that dirt texture all the way out here. And we'll get rid of this strip of grass, because I think that looks kind of silly. All right, and hopefully that's not going to cost me like thousands of dollars. Whoops. Okay. That's all right. I think that looks better. Yeah, I like that a lot more. Let's see what that cost us. Let's see. Construction costs. All right, $500. A little expensive, but not terrible. It does improve the look of the farm a bit. Unfortunately, all this grass texture, this is never actually going to grow anything on it. I wish there was a way that you could paint just normal uncultivated grass like you find all over the map. I think that would be an improvement to the game, but I don't know, maybe we'll get that in a patch or something. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.